Press.
Good evening and welcome to this session of the live virtual classes conducted by the Board of Studies Academics of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Welcome back to the session again. In the last session, we saw dividends. In this session, it will be our pleasure to go through accounts of companies. As I might have mentioned, this topic also is closely connected with your other topics like finance and all that, financial reporting and all that. Sort of. Maybe there you will study in depth about the representation of accounting information. Whereas here we are going to see the legal background, the statutory background of accounts of companies. Non-corporate entities do not have any statute which makes it compulsory for them to maintain and get books of account audited. For a limited purpose of taxation, the Income Tax Act, Section 44AB, makes it compulsory for certain entities and for certain other entities to get it audited by a chartered accountant under the tax audit. But that is only in cases where turnover exceeds certain limits. Okay. Whereas under the Companies Act, as it is now being administered, all companies need to have accounts and more importantly, need to get these accounts audited. Okay. It will be very surprising for you to note that in certain countries like Singapore, Dubai, etc., not all companies are to be compulsorily audited. Maybe when we come to auditing, we can talk about this, but all companies need to have accounts. Okay. All companies need to have accounts, but only companies with a turnover of, I don't know what the limits are in Singapore and Dubai, but to a certain limit of net worth or paid up capital or turnover, there is no need for auditing, compulsory auditing. Voluntarily, yes, compulsorily, no need for a certificate or opinion from the auditor. More about it when we come to audit. As far as accounts are concerned, it is common. In India, all companies need to maintain accounts. All companies need to get it written as of now. Though there is a proposal to reduce the number of companies coming under statutory audit so that with up to a certain limit, they will not have to get their accounts audited. There's such a proposal was put up by the ICAI. I don't know what is the status, but it might become law. Okay. So the number of companies that require audit would come down. The accounts need to be maintained. So every company needs to maintain books of account and also maintain the relevant books and papers, financial statement, etc., etc. Right? So, as usual, feel free to raise your queries either in the query pad or in the chat box. As and when I come to a certain logical part, certain logical point, I will sort of stop. Now, we also going to see a very exciting new development in the sense that 2013 development. It was not there in the old law, but it's pretty now very much established law about reopening and recasting of accounts. Also, a company can voluntarily revise its accounts also. We are also going to see something called the National Financial Reporting Authority, NAFRA, pronounced NAFRA, NFRA, but some popularly pronounced as NAFRA. We sort of aspirate that N and F, though there is no consonant, we supply a consonant there and say NAFRA. NAFRA, the power of central government. NAFRA is similar to your IEPF authority. It is an authority. established for the purpose of monitoring chartered accounts. And also, in this context, accounts of companies, NAFRA will provide the framework for accounting standards and auditing standards. Though the accounting standards and auditing standards are to be developed and sort of present by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, they will get a statutory recognition only when they are, shall we say, announced by or notified by NAFRA. Okay, more about it when we come to NAFRA. I think my internet connection may be a little unstable today. Please bear with me because I have no other connection available. And I think already somebody is telling, yeah, now it's somewhat better. I think so. Yeah. So we'll also see audit report and board's report, the board of directors report. Then another very, very important topic. In fact, from the exam point of view, I would say this is the important topic here, which is called corporate social responsibility, CSR. We'll see that also, and certain other procedural matters and internal audit. With that, our topic would get totally. So, first, let us begin with section 128. Very lengthy section, 128, 129 are all lengthy sections containing a lot of rules and guidelines, but not very important from exam point of view. You need not memorize everything. As we go through the topic, I may be showing you some exam related problems which have been asked in the exam. Also, instead of mugging up, try to remember the principles involved and also certain important points. Note it, because that is where the question would come. Okay. In the last question, in our last class, somebody was asking about case laws and all that. Now, in the topic that I am covering, there are no major case laws. There are no case laws. Maybe in incorporation of companies, especially ultra vires, doctrines and all that, you will find there are some case laws. Now, choice is yours. If you don't quote case laws, you will not be marked wrong. But between two people, one who has written case law and another who has not written case law, slightly more marks will be given to case law writers. Somebody who writes the correct answer but without any case law name, let us say out of 4 marks, they get 2 or 3 even, 3. The guy who wrote the case law or the lady who wrote the case law will get 3.5. So the edge will be there. It's not as if you lose marks, but an edge will be there. But if you're in the correct answer, principle is correct, law has been correctly written, and you don't write the case law, so nothing will happen. You're not going to lose. It's not as if you will get nothing. You will get marks. But slight edge is there for those who write case laws, who write section numbers, and all. If you want to write, what I normally used to do was, I will not begin the sentence by saying, according to section 128. No. Because suppose it is wrong, first thing they see is the wrong section number. What I normally do is, I write the law, say maybe in one paragraph, and then within bracket, I write the section number at the end. Maybe sometimes I write it even later. Once I'm 100% sure, I write the section number. Or else I write it in pencil and move on. Then later on I come and ink it. Or else I can always erase it. This used to be my approach. Rather than write a wrong section number, I'll take that way. These are all sections. I'm not saying that is the only way to write examination or there is no other way of writing examination. But this way, your chances are better. That's all I'm trying to say. So every company shall prepare books of account. Friends, the correct grammatical way of writing is books of account. Even in the Companies Act, in one place, they have written it as book of accounts. The books of accounts. The popularly wrong writing is books of accounts. No, it is books of account. Book of account, books of. The singular and plural is for books, not for accounts. So one book is one book of account. Two books is two books of account. As in the case of father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, when you're converting singular to plural, you shouldn't say father-in-laws, say fathers-in-law, like that. So yeah, actually my audio is connected. Maybe it's feeble. So kindly bear with it. I am trying to raise my voice, trying to do the best I can. Please bear with me today. Okay. I'm not in my office. I'm elsewhere in a place where maybe connection is not there, but I'm connecting through a good, stable connection only. So I'm not able to understand. But yeah, I'm trying my best to raise my voice. I'm doing my best. So from now on, if there is a slight feebleness, kindly bear with me. I'm raising my voice and trying to make it as audible as possible. Okay. Thank you for confirming that it is now somewhat better. Right. So every company should maintain books of account and other relevant books and papers. Friends, these two words have already been defined for you in section 2, the first preliminary topic. You studied the definition. Books and papers is any document. Today, books of account and books on papers can also include those which are available on electronic medium. So today, digitalization of accounts is common. In fact, you will be very surprised if anybody comes to you with a manual or physical books of account, because that is not, I mean, nobody does it. Though it's not compulsory, you can have physical books also, but the Companies Act itself encourages you, enables companies to maintain books of account in electronic form. For example, today most companies do not have books of account. Sir, your ledger is a report. Your journal is a report. In fact, today there is no need for a journal. See, basically, in those days, when we used to maintain manual books of account, there was a need for something called a primary entry, book of primary entry, a journal, from where you posted. So you had a sales journal, you had a purchase journal. So which were all day-to-day entries were made. Sometimes by non-accountants, the sales journal, the purchase journal, etc. Those people who maintained these were clerks. Accounts, you could call them account clerks. They knew nothing. On top of them, the ledger was there, the general ledger. Now that was handled by a accounts person. The general ledger was controlled by an accounts person who knew the principles of accounting. And then they were further summarized into the form of a trial balance. And from this trial balance, trained chartered accountants like you and me, we used to prepare what are known as financial statements. So this is the process. Now, today, with electronic and digitalization and total automation of accounting function, total automation of business, most of the financial data gets collected at the point of transaction, the point of sale, the point of purchase. So as and when goods are received into my godown, entries are, ERP collects it, then monetizes it based on the everything purchase order. So that most of my data is already collected. I don't need to write it anywhere. If I wanted a systematic purchase journal, it is readily available there. It has happened as part of the transaction itself. Sales has happened as part of the transaction. All I need to do now is take the data out, dump it in my accounting application, whatever be it, what it may, or the accounting part of my ERP. SAP has many functional divisions. So the accounting finance part of SAP, it collects all this and it puts it together in the format in which you want it as an accountant, and it gives it to you. The data pool is common. Why I make this point very vehemently and even at the cost of irritating some of you is when you go for an audit or when you take over the business of a company as a finance controller, remember all the data is available to you. Gone are the structures of financial accounting. The data pool is available for statutory representation and stakeholder, shall we say, dialogue. You need a certain format which is given by the Companies Act. But for internal management reviews and MIS purposes, the entire data pool is available to you to play around with. You can create so many new ways of looking at the data, decision making, creativity, etc. I'm just trying to make you understand because that has been one of my roles as a corporate trainer to go to companies and show them that the data is already there. Was just have to take it, reframe it, look at it again. Suddenly you get the answers that you want. Okay. So maybe while you and I are looking at the structure and the framework in which financial accounts are presented to the stakeholders and to the statutory bodies and to the tax department, etc., and let us not get locked to these formats and say this is the only way we will look at data. Not necessary. There are other ways of looking at the same data, converting it into reports that are maybe giving you other meanings. This is more of a forward-looking statement made by me because one of the basic questions that I get today in my advanced MCS workshops or in my orientation workshops or in generally when I'm in dialogue with my younger brother and younger member of the institute or even engineers and non-members also when I'm training them, one fear that they have, one constant nagging fear is, will my job become redundant? Will AI, so-called artificial intelligence, take away my job? Like that. I don't want to waste your time on that, but I'm saying if your job only involves taking some existing data and representing it, okay, in a certain format which is already prescribed, that is eminently automatable. That is eminently automatable. That does not need human beings, will not need human beings. But if you have redefined your job as taking the data pool, re-looking at it, and taking creative and intuitive decisions based on that, recommending these decisions to management, then your job is secure for some more time. Okay, that is all I would like to say here. In that context, I'm trying to make this point. Even the financial statement that we see, it is subject to so much interpretation, and you can look at so many things which a normal AI cannot do. So, okay. So, as we already mentioned, the purpose of maintaining books of account is to explain the transactions affected by the company in an accurate and systematic manner. Believe me, I have seen financial reports prepared by non-finance people. Very, very, I can assure you. For example, the operations team, the marketing team, etc., also have access to certain financial data. But the pictures that they have are all elided pictures. They have partially covered pictures. Only you and I, as accounts people, finance people, we get the whole view, the complete view of the business as represented by financial data. This is something very powerful. This is a very powerful role that you and I play. Believe me when I say that to you. Let us say that the marketing guy is getting business, the operations guy is running the business. They cannot do anything without we telling them whether they've made money or not, and whether they are making the money in the best way, is an optimal way of doing things. This is something that only you and I can talk because we have total view of the financial transactions. Just as a matter of interest, I'm making these points. Okay. Now, very important, such books shall be kept on accrual basis. Okay. Now, that's what I said. When a non-finance guy prepares a statement of profit or whatever, coolly he will ignore stock. Coolly. Coolly he will ignore stock, or coolly he will do wrong valuation of stock, or coolly he will ignore accrual. He will not bother about unpaid purchases. He will take cash basis, and he'll say, this is the money, this is the profit we have. Then I said, no, sir. We can't touch that money because we have also purchased on credit. Who's going to take that? Oh, okay. That was accrual is something. Whereas Companies Act today has made accrual basis as compulsory. Also, according to double entry system of counting. Okay, no, this may seem a little childish to advanced accounting students like you, who for whom accrual basis and double entry system are the weft and weave of our knowledge. We for us it is other than that we can't do anything. If you are given a set of transactions, the next thing that you will do is put them into the double entry or the accounting equation, satisfy double entry rules, go on with preparing the trial balance, right? Ledger trial balance. Okay, but not so the outside world. Okay, uninstructed and popular world does not know the nuances and esotery of accrual basis and double entry system. Therefore, in order to say, when you and I say, sir, we have to maintain on accrual basis, somebody who is not an accountant may say, why should I do it? Where does it say? Where does it say? In which law does it say? If that is so, I'm sorry. Please, Anil, just I'm making some comments. Don't, to react quickly to you, Mr. Anil, and don't react to what I'm saying. Don't react. Attitude is everything. Attitude is everything. If the world is not recognizing, it is whose fault, like that you think. And we prove ourselves to be brilliant, the recognition is coming. Let me assure you that. For people who are talented, for people who demonstrate their knowledge and ability, it is highly recognized. So you look within and ask, why am I not being recognized? Or what is it that I need to do to make myself recognized? You will find that recognition starts coming. So let's not, let's not make sweeping statements about the world. Let's talk only about ourselves and our own abilities, because there are 100 people who are highly recognized in our profession, who know what they are doing and who they are earning huge money. Your job should be now, what can I do to become that? And that should be the well recognized. In fact, believe me when I say that, I am also a corporate trainer. Sometimes when I go to a corporate, generally I do HR workshops, wherein I'm also qualified as a HR trainer and with practical experience for the last 25 years, more than that. So at the peak of my training career, I used to go through the HR departments, who will not possibly know that I'm a chartered accountant. But my other qualification, which is an MS from Brits Pilani, Master of Science in Management Systems, or other, after sometimes, sir, in certain disciplines, the qualifications have no meaning. It is ability to do the job, deliver and go. So once you have the delivery proof and capability, people come to you. And so that being the case, when I go there, and suddenly they come to know from some source that I am a member of our institute, you should see the type of respect that they give. Are you a chartered accountant, sir? Are you a chartered accountant, sir? Yes, then what's the your HR programs are good, but we appreciate you because you're a member of that institute and you have so many options. In spite of that, you're coming and you're doing this training and all that for us. Like that, they used to say. So, just for information. So, the language we use, let it be positive. Let it be. See, today in the morning, I was extremely depressed due to many reasons. But I have to take a class now. I have to pull myself up and come out of it. I have to do it. Okay, this is something that, as a humble suggestion, as a faculty, I'm telling you, when you feel down, don't further push yourself down. Pull yourself up and say, yes, I'm capable. I can do this. I'm good. But automatically, you'll find that everything is coming to. Okay. So, again, I repeat. In fact, I was talking. Yeah, sorry for not wasting your time if you think, but just a humble session. I will let you. To everybody who's listening, to everybody who may listen later on video, making this point that yes, sometimes today morning I was absolutely feeling down, very depressed. But we have to fill ourselves up and make ourselves fresh and come into the and get back and get going. So this is my humble, 60 years old. And I became a chartered accountant at the age of 21. I became a member of our institute at the age of 21. So 21 to take it 60, calculate. So it's not, I'm not trying to boast. I'm saying absolutely glorious career, absolutely enjoyable life, and no regrets. But it's in your hands, not in. Don't give that power to the world. Take the power back and demonstrate to the world that you are worthy of recognition and respect. Okay, that should be our. So coming back to the mundane topic, accrual. So that's the point. So the MD is asking, why should I do accrual? Where does it say you should say section 128 of the companies that sell by compulsory, sir? You have to take because the guy wants to show profit. He doesn't have any sense of accounting and all. So he'll say, no, you don't. HSS, you push it to April. How can I push it to April, sir? The liability has been incurred now. How can I push it to April? Is it so? What does it say? Says so in section 128 of the company that, sir. I had a famous non-accountant MD telling me, Mr. Srikanth, if an account is debited, is it correct or not to say that another account should be credited? Yeah, you're right. Basically, that's what regulatory is all about. But that guy wanted me to debit. He wanted me to allot bonus shares out of revaluation reserve. I said, sir, just because an entry can be debited, another entry can be credited. I can't debit revaluation reserve and credit share capital. That is not done. Similarly, there was one famous engineering girl, startup. Okay, she's an engineer. And she there is one popular software when the promoters of that accounting software say you can maintain your own accounts. So do it yourself, DIY. So this lady started doing that. She didn't hire a trained accountant. She sends the trial balance, not tally. Not only that, 3.5 crores in share capital debit. Share capital account debit, 3.5 crores. We got mad. Then my audit manager came and said, sir, I don't know what to do this accounts. Then I called her up and asked her, madam, the whole thing is a mess. No, sir, everything is just for accounting. Okay, madam, you just answered me one thing. This share capital having debit, how is it possible? She's telling, Sashikant, are you not aware of accountancy? No, you please tell me what is the issue. No, debit what comes in, correct. Share capital is coming in, so debit. Share capital is coming in, no. So debit. See, this is the problem. Understand? Accounting is also not so easy a thing that anybody can just come and learn it and go in one day. My experience with B school students, MBA students has been, I usually cover a topic. In those days, I used to cover what is known as accounting 101. Basically, starting with financial accounting to balance sheet interpretation, accounting ratios, conclusions, and all that. We call it accounting 101. That accounting 101, when I start now, we have a mix of BCom students and engineers. Initial class, the BCom would be generally aware because they know the theory. But once the engineers understand the logic of what is happening, they catch on. You'll find that the engineers also pick up accounting very fast because accounting is basically logic. Once you understood the logic, so they understand the logic very clearly, except that the format they will not know how to do. The format, they won't do. But correctly, they'll tally the trial balance. Correctly, they'll prepare you. But format, they won't know. But unfortunately, accounting is a representational mechanism. It is meant to explain the transactions in an accurate. So it is not just like a mathematical or a list of numbers that you total. Each number has a meaning. Each number has a story, and that story needs to be told in the notes and accounts. And unless that story is told, these numbers have no meaning. Books of account includes records maintained in respect of all sums of money received and expended, all sales and purchases, assets and liabilities, items of cost. In fact, having said accrual basis and double entry system, they need not mention this at all because in double entry system, everything that is based on money would be automatically counted. Book and paper, definition 2, subsection 12. Should I memorize it? No. Why am I giving it? Knowledge sake. That's all. Don't worry. Nobody's going to ask you book and paper definition. No. Define the following. No. Book and paper. That type of question will never come in the examination. Never. Application oriented will come. But this type of question will never come. Book and paper and book or paper include books of account, So basically, books of account, book and paper is a bigger term. Books of account to subsection 13, only those records which pertain to receipt of money, sales, etc. Also, you notice here, last item, the items of cost as may be prescribed. When you do auditing, we come to cost audit. At that time, I will tell you for which type of company cost count records have been prescribed. Also, I mean, which type of companies and which certain industries. Also, which type of companies need to have a cost audit, right? So, books of account is included in book and paper. In addition to that, deeds, vouchers, writings, documents, minutes, registers maintained on paper or in electronic form. I don't know whether you are, you would have, I think many of you would not have started your articles given the new scheme, assuming that when you join your office, remember as you go for auditing, it is the book and paper that's going to make more sense than the books of account. Because when you see the books of account, you'll see a ledger. You'll see a ledger account. You'll see the account in one particular account. You'll be going through it and you'll see some narration and all. Nothing is clear. What is this all about? Yeah? What is the nature of this expense, sir? Please show me. No, sir. That is that real estate transaction that happened. No, we did this, that. Where is the proof? Show me. That is the deeds, vouchers, writings. So, as in part of audit now, we just don't see the books of account and go. We based on that, we go to the underlying book and paper and see whether that is authentic, whether that is reflected in the books, and whether the books are based on the underlying documents or do they talk different, languages? Sometimes I've seen that once I see the deal, once I see the voucher, once I see the actual document, I will get a different picture. I say, "Hey, this is not the way you want to account it, sir. This is totally as you account different way, etc." Even taxation and all will change based on the documentation. So, books and paper or book or paper is a wider term. Very important, 121 and 2. Books of account shall be prepared and kept at the registered office of the company. Ladies and gentlemen will note, a company may have many offices. It may have a corporate office, it may have an administrative office, blah, blah, blah. But there can be only one registered office, which is recorded with the registrar of companies, that is kept, that is announced. Okay. Once you incorporate the company, you would mention the state in which the registered office of the company will be situated. Thereafter, within 30 days, you have to file the INC form, which for giving the actual postal address of your registered office. Okay. Right. For convenience, they may be kept at such other places in India as the board of directors may decide. I have highlighted, capitalized and highlighted in India. You can't have it abroad, but you can have it in India. Simple example I always give. There is a company which was founded in Madhya Pradesh. Maybe the factory was possibly in Bhavra district where the owner's native place. Maybe they have huge tracts of land there. They developed the factory initially in Bhavra only. Then slowly they grew the business. Then slowly the office moved to Indore, where the Bhavra became the factory. The office registered. Then they possibly corporatized it around that time. Then the company came to Indore. Company's registered office was in Indore. So books of account maintained in Indore, right? Then the company further grows. If the brand becomes well known across India, so they have regional offices, and they find that much of their transactions are better done from state of Maharashtra, where in the city of Mumbai. So what they do, they shift the corporate office to Mumbai, for which there is an elaborate procedure in the incorporation chapter. Shifting of registered office from one state to another state, right? So all that, you have studied all that. Now, in addition to that, once the registered office got shifted to Mumbai, then the books of account can be maintained there. But there could be another option. The promoters feel that, no, sir, we don't want to leave Indore. Indore, hamara, they share. We want to be here. Okay, be here. We'll keep the registered office here, but the corporate office will be in Mumbai. Maybe the owner's family would have moved to Mumbai also. As they become richer and richer, they would have invested in Mumbai, moved to Mumbai so that the third generation is now in Mumbai. But still their native place is Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, in Indore, Howrah. So what they will do, they will maintain the registered office of the company in old Indore office where the grandfather used to sit. But the corporate office with all its latest thing will be in Mulund, in Mumbai. No problem. The books of account can be maintained there. Okay. Provided a board resolution is passed to this effect. Because for convenience sake, everybody is there. This is just more of. But legally, there is one very important point. Domicile and jurisdiction wise, this company would be domiciled in Madhya Pradesh, not in Maharashtra. Also, legal notices have to be sent to Madhya Pradesh, Indore. Okay. Suppose I am taking insolvency action against this company, I have to take that in Indore, not in Mumbai. Domicile becomes very, very important, especially when you're going to file a suit. Okay. So, register office, if you have to keep or any other place in India, in such case, the company shall within 7 days thereof file with the registrar a notice in writing giving the full address of that place. Also, a company may have many branch offices. Those branch accounts may be kept at that office, provided summarized returns of the branch accounts are sent periodically to the company. Means some kind of returns and all. This will be very obvious in the case of banks and insurance companies. Because banks and insurance companies, they operate out of branches. So they may have a network of branches across the country. Each branch will be maintaining its books of account and sending returns, etc. But today, at least banking is come a full circle. Today, accounts are maintained centralized. It's a centralized banking system where everything is in a single server or on the cloud, and branches are having thin clients. Data is not in the branch. But still, logically, the branch accounts is the responsibility of the branch manager. It's very peculiar. See, when I go to a bank for an audit, a statutory audit of a branch of a scheduled bank, nothing is there. Everything is in head office, online. I have to access the online through the password and view and go there. They have to upload and I have to get it here. But those accounts pertain to this branch. So the shall we say the legal and statutory responsibility of this branch, and periodic returns are being sent by the branch, etc., etc. With the shall we say geography neutral world, okay, these demarcations are becoming extremely blurred. We really don't know what is the thing, how much of it is centralized, how much of it is decentralized, how much should be decentralized. But one thing is clear, with thanks to the fact that there is no geographical issues, data can be stored anywhere and accessed from anywhere. Simple. Which is going to change the way we look at work, the way we look at security. More so in our profession, where the data is the most important thing in our life. So how do we access it? Where is it available? Who can access it? It's that becomes a very important aspect of this. So the law actually enables you to maintain books of account and other relevant papers in electronic mode. This is a 2013 thing where they are permitting you to maintain in electronic mode, except that they want to give a certain control framework. And one thing they say is that books and papers should remain accessible in India so as to be usable for subsequent reference. I use the word, I highlight the word in India. So today in a virtual world, you do not know where your data is residing. Right? Once I take data and I put it on the cloud, say maybe AWS or wherever I want to do it, in any warehouse, Amazon warehouse or whichever warehouse I put, it may not be in India. So they are very clearly saying your cloud whoever is providing the cloud service to you, his server should be in India. It's a very thing, very difficult. But they're putting such draconian conditions. Maybe they are right also. We retained completely in the format in which they were originally generated, sent or received, or in a format which are present accurately, the information generated, sent or received, and the information contained in the electronic records shall remain complete and unaltered. They are talking about scanned images being used. While doing so, the entire image should be accurately kept so that after that we should be able to identify. And today, most companies have stopped using physical, rather, they use the document handling or scanned images, which are document handling. Today, we just handle the paperwork that is involved. So earlier, if you wanted to make payments, you used to prepare vouchers and you used to get it signed by the recipient and other. Today, we simply ask them to come online or whatever, and then it is all authenticated through user IDs and passwords. That's the only way. Today, no signatures and all that. Even you and I, after some time, will stop signing. We will only have a digital token with which we will sign digitally. Okay? It means there will be no physical paper documents. It will be only digitally signed online, including digitally signed checks. Digitally signed check. In fact, you really don't need a digitally signed check. Yeah. You just need to do EFT, electronic funds transfer, which is nothing but a digitally signed check. So, to an extent, the ministry also is a little overreacting. That's all I would say. Maybe possibly because they do not have that much, shall we say, confidence in the information security framework within the country. So they're saying, I don't care. You, whatever you do, anything should be in India. I want to see it. And I want to be sure that it's available in the same format in which it was originally generated. Now, one more thing they have said is there should be something called an audit trail for the financial year commencing on or after the first day of April 2023. They have used the word financial years, but basically, first day of April 2023, every company which uses accounting software for maintaining its books of account shall use only such accounting software which has a feature of recording or trail of each and every transaction. Now, what is an audit trail? I'm sure you're quite familiar with audit trail. Yeah. Audit trail is mandatory for all companies. Very important. Okay. In fact, many of them don't know this. Surprisingly, many members of our institute don't know this. And the beauty of it is that those software actually contain audit trail facility. All they need to do is to flag switch on. That's all. Activate it. You call your service provider and they tell you to activate it. That's it. Thereafter, see what happens now. Any modification, deletion, addition will be documented, and there will be a certain logs will be there, which are to be reviewed by the systems administrator. And you can even insist that those logs are to be kept till the audit is over. Once the audit. So what we normally do is we sort of scan through the audit trail. See, for example, certain accounting data can be modified only by 3 user IDs. Now, I can run a software that tests the audit trail and finds out whether any user ID other than these 3 have access to the data. If so, for what? That's 1. 2, data itself can be further segregated. Certain data, critical data, needs only one user ID has to authorize, maker, checker. So if that authorization ID is not correct, then, or if it is not there and the transaction is moving, then the audit trail has revealed that something wrong here. So, or, yeah, if once the audit trail is in place, no, it will record each transaction, who did it, what happened. have an idea of each change made. And last but not the least, the audit trail should not be being disabled. So most accounting software, they give that facility. So the minute we go, we immediately ask, is your, are you stable? Is your yeah, Mr. Anil, thank you for your information. If you have any questions, you ask. Yeah. Every transaction is uh, edit, create also. Creation, modification, deletion. All the three will be documented. Who did it? When did they do it? Timing becomes very crucial here. Who did it? When, etc. What I suggest, whenever audio breaks, no, just bear with me. It will get corrected. So the fluctuation in the connection. Okay. So I do appreciate today there is some issues there. Try to avoid it in future. But I'm using a very good 5G connection. Uh, Mr. Anil, why would what's it somewhat better now? Audio? You had put that audio is breaking. I'm only saying just bear with me. It will get corrected. And in the meantime, we have a question. Can we disable audit trail for a certain time? Now, question is, why would you want to do that? Why would somebody want to disable the audit trail? Why? That is the first. Can we do it or not? Why? Why do you want to do it? That is the question you have to ask. I would like to have a reaction from Anil before I answer the question. Why do you want to disable it? If you give a reason, I can say why. Okay. But in general, if you disable the audit trail, even for a short time, that will be documented. That will be documented. In which case, our reliance on those accounts it will be a qualification then. I will definitely say that there is something wrong here with this accounts. Why did you disable? It's a flag, sir. If you go to the software, you can go to the what is that, properties, and there you can see whether audit trail has been enabled or not. If it has been disabled, that will also get documented. Okay, and you are still yet to answer my question, Mr. Anil. You are carefully evading my question. What was my question? Why would you want to disable it? So if that your question was basically whether the auditor would know whether it was disabled, 100% the auditor will know. Believe me, the first. In fact, one of our basic audit procedure is audit trail enabled? Was the audit trail enabled? Period of audit. Then you do the audit law for obvious. Then make inquiry as to what happened when there is a wrong user being used, who enabled it, why was it done, and we raise a query, and we will get a reply from the client. If you are satisfied with it, that item gets closed, and then it goes for further internal control weakness issues, maybe Garo qualification, something like that. Sir, that is exactly what the company law doesn't want to do. In order to modify certain accounting information, management might disable. If they do that, you and I as auditors should point out what you have done is wrong. And not only that, I will ask what was done during the disabled time, etc., etc. So I think you are being very naive, Mr. Anil. Don't do that. Okay. The whole point of this exercise is to prevent management from doing exactly that. Okay. They don't want management to disable or to do certain things with the accounts without any monitoring like that. Okay. So don't worry, it's not going to happen. Audit trail, if it is not enabled, is a straight qualification. And we will report it to the NCA that this company has not, the audit trail was not enabled throughout the audit period. It's mandatory, sir. It is not optional. You have to, enable audit trail. They also, when you are doing it in electronic form, information received from branch offices shall not be altered and shall be kept in a manner where it shall depict what was originally received from the branches. Mr. Anil, let's stop this. Yeah, that was, see, that statement of watchdog and not a bloodhound comes from a very famous case. So don't worry. Kingston Cotton Mills case, it's a very famous case. There's no, it was not meant in a death. First of all, please learn from me now. Take it from me that that sentence, the auditor is a watchdog, not a bloodhound, is actually a praise for us. I don't think that the word dog is used here not to demean us, but to make us feel proud that we are watchdogs. We are always watching like that. In that sense only it was told in Kingston Cotton Mills case. There is a famous case, Kingston Cotton Mills Limited, regarding Kingston, where there was a case against the auditor as to whether it was the duty of the auditor to detect fraud. There in Kingston Cotton Mills case, they said, no, an auditor going through the books of account is only a watchdog. He is not a bloodhound. See, that you should understand the meaning of these words. Watchdog is something that will ensure that everything is in order. Whereas bloodhound is like an investigator. It will start sniffing everywhere, being suspicious. So what was decided in Kingston Cotton Mills case? See, this watchdog, it comes from a quotation from this case law. Please first note that. Where is the statement coming from? It is coming from that. And therein the Honorable House of Lords, Lord Mcclellan himself said, no, the audit is not liable. Okay. But this was turned down by Lord Denning. When Lord Denning in his judgment said the auditor's responsibility goes beyond that, he can't simply say, I am not responsible. If his suspicions are aroused, he shall not fail to investigate. So it's a very easy trick. Don't immediately give negative reactions, Anil. For everything, don't be. I mean, I think this in you, and I think this quality you should change. But everything, I'm feeling unhappy, I'm feeling disgusted, I'm not happy, I'm not happy. No, be happy, be proud. There are so many things to be proud in life. Okay, that's all. Yeah. Okay, so it's not that everything is negative. So you want some positive statements from Anil through in this session. I've had only negative. Coming to audit trail, compulsory. You cannot waive. Okay, it cannot be done. Yeah. Okay, it cannot be done. Yeah, I know my voice is breaking. Nothing can be done about it. My connection, I cannot change my connection at this point in time. Please bear with me. That is all I can say. Once the books are presented to audit, no. Company should enable the audit 24/7 during the accounting period. Please understand your statement is slightly altered, Dhanalakshmi. Books are, see, when they come to us for audit, believe me, I'm not going to take static accounts. I'm going to take dynamic accounts. I'm going to see it in online mode. And by then the transaction has happened. So, time when it is presented to me, I want to be sure that throughout the audit period, the audit trail was enabled. Correct? So that during the entire financial year, the data, see, you can alter the data genuinely. But any malafide, like Mr. Anil was saying, any malafide management trying to change data will be, we can see what happened, which account was debited, which account was credited, who did it, etc. So earlier there was no audit trail, so that when we got it, we don't know what happened. So what we are getting is, which means nothing great. Even then, a smart auditor can easily find out any alterations or fraudulent entries in the books. Believe me when I say this. It's only a matter of comparing 3 or 4 major indicators. When we come to the clear conclusion, boss, your inventory is overstated, or you have taken unsecured loans and shown the maps, you have taken certificate as unsecured loan. Straight away we will say that. And then, of course, we will verify the data to prove ourselves. But if the audit trail enabling is there, changes cannot be made. Okay, that is the good. So this is the thing. The company shall intimate to the registrar on an annual basis the name of the service provider, the internet protocol address, the location of the service provider, where the books of accounts and other books are maintained on cloud, such address as provided by the service provider. So idea is the books of account, we should know where they are maintained, how they are maintained, etc. Remember, later on in final, when you come to final, there might be, you might study investigation, in which case you should know that the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, the Registrar of Companies, can inspect your books of account at any time. He has the power to call for books and papers. If you do not provide it, or if very unsatisfactory compliance is made by you, then he can enter your premises, search and seize documents, including electronic documents. Okay. That power is there. That is why he needs to know where you are keeping it. You should tell him. Okay. Now we spoke about inspection of books. Inspection of books by the registrar comes under a different term in final. This is 128.3 and 4, very important from exam point of view. Very important, frequently repeated question from here. Okay. So the books of account of a company maintained within India shall be open for inspection by a director. Friends, there are 2 different major groups of directors. One is executive directors, the other is non-executive directors. Executive directors are called, also known as full-time directors. Right? They take care of the day-to-day management of the company. They have direct access and control over the books of account. Especially the director in charge of finance has direct access of books of account. Non-executive directors and certain executive directors who are not involved in finance may not have direct access to the books of account, but they are entitled to inspect the books. Every director, any director of a company has the right to inspect the books of account. Okay. In case the financial information is outside India, copies should be maintained and produced to him. Only thing they say, the inspection shall be done during business hours at the registered place or office. Or they are using the word place here because the books of account may not be maintained in the registered office. It could be maintained elsewhere. That is called registered place where the books of account are maintained. That's why they are using the word registered place rather than registered office. Okay, because they give you the permission to store the books of account in a place other than the registered office. Now, where an inspection is made by a director, above said, the officers and other employees of the company shall give to the person making inspection all assistance in connection with the inspection which the company may reasonably be expected to give. Reasonably. So when he asks for something, you have to give it. If he goes through the books and asks for certain details, you have to give it. Right? Refusal to do so is an offense under section 128. inspection in respect of any subsidiary of the company shall be done only by the person authorized in this behalf by a resolution of the board of directors. Point. Director of a holding company cannot inspect the books of account of a subsidiary. Director of a holding company cannot inspect the books of account of a subsidiary. But if authorized by the board of directors of the holding company, then he can inspect the books of the subsidiary. Okay. Only the person authorized in this behalf by a board resolution can inspect books of a subsidiary. Okay. Not necessarily the director of a holding company. It could be anybody. Unless it's because once a legal entity is there, sir, only for the purpose of consolidated financial statement, we will see that. In consolidated financial statement, we will see the accounts of a holding company and its subsidiaries shall be combined, consolidated, right? While conducting inspection, what if once again? What if the directors find something intentional? Yeah, if they do that, then they have two options now. One, they can go to a board meeting and they can take it up with the board of directors. Issue. If they are not happy, there are many things that they can. Okay, they can even report it to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, ask them to come a formal investigation and take action. But the first instance, it would be appropriate for them to take it to the audit committee. If no audit committee is there, then the board of directors. We send a formal letter stating that this is there. Okay, and what see, there's a legal process by which they can go. In case the proper reply is not given by the other group, then they can use, there are many powers available. They can go for oppression and mismanagement provisions, at the end of which there could even be insolvency proceedings against this company. So huge. So this is the beginning. If anything is concrete is coming out, then they go up to that. In fact, for one, we'll come to the next point and then I'll tell you this. So the director may not be qualified to do this. Okay. Right. So he can do it through any person. His power of attorney or agent or representative also. Okay. But when he is seeking financial information kept outside India, he shall make a specific written request. Ladies and gentlemen should note the word written. It is orally or telephone, no. There should be a formal written request. This is with respect to information kept outside India. Other information, local information, he can just come and ask. Now, this written request for foreign information kept outside India shall be done by the director himself, not by through his power of attorney, agent or representative. This is only for information kept outside India. As far as in India is concerned, director can appoint somebody, his agent or his representative, to go through the books of account because he may not be qualified. I have done it in at least 4 cases. I have done it where there is a basic dispute between the directors. One of the directors feels that he is being cheated, but he wants to be sure, so he wants to see the books of account. He demands, not given. They go for court. Then the court orders an investigation, or sometimes the arbitration or mediation. At that time, they say, what is the damage? We do not know. Let us call for an auditor who will report. So I have done it. We go through the entire period, books of account, and then we will ask for vouchers, then go for probability, see whether genuinely this could have happened or bogus bills are being produced. And then that's in a way, we are sort of pouring into the area called forensic audit. It's slightly forensic. It's not exactly forensic, but it's slightly forensic, where we will come out with our findings and we will say, these are bogus bills, these are not available, these expenses were never incurred. we'll give out the detailed report, based on which the director who's engaged this or asked for the inspection can go for a civil case, or he can produce it before the arbitrator. See, when there's an arbitration going on, he might show to the arbitrator, look here, sir, so much fraud that this fellow has done. So now you decide based on this whether I owe him money or he owes me money. So on. So okay. Usually this type of inspection, etc., will happen only when there is a dispute between directors or groups. Then all this will happen. Okay. When financial information should be provided within 15 days of receipt of written request. Friends, these are just 3 simple slides. 1, 2, 3. Totally 9 or 8 paragraphs. 3 plus 2, 5 plus 3, 8 paragraphs. That's all. You may be asked questions for which the answer is here. If you can remember these simple points, just remember, that's it. Okay. Yeah, some of you may be feeling like a small break. Hold on. Let's have a break after this exactly at 7:15. Now the time is 7:05. Let's have a break exactly at 7:15. Okay, 19:05. We'll have a break. Then again we'll start the class on till 8:30. So let's look at a couple of test questions asked in the examination. One of the directors of Surode Pharma has sent a request for inspection of the books of account of the company. The CFO of the company refuses to provide access to the said books on the grounds that the director will provide the quarterly summary of financial position at the board meeting. Advise the board of the company as to whether the action taken by the CFO is correct in the light of the relevant provisions of the Companies Act 2013. Will your answer be different if the request is made by a shareholder? You're writing no, sir. What no? What is? Request. Try to give a detailed answer for this question. 1 or 2 lines at least. CFO statement is not correct. No, that's correct. CFO statement is not correct. Incorrect. Now, if you write that, you'll get 1 mark. For that single line answer, you will get 1 mark. How to improve it? Now, Ms. Dhanalakshmi gives a better answer. Or rather, she adds to it. As per section 128, need to give books. Gayatri Sethia says the action taken by the CFO is not correct. As the books of accounts, madam, books of account, madam, please, madam, books of account should be open for inspection to the directors. If you can add that section 128, madam, you will enhance your answer. That's all. See, the answer to this question is here. Books of account shall be open by director. Okay, now, then come here, where the officers and other employees shall give assistance. You don't use the exact words, use your own words. In the given case, the CFO is not correct in refusing to provide access as is a violation of section 128. That's all. If you can write this up, you can. If you can. 123, no. No need. Even if you write 128, that is good. Okay. Will your answer be different? If the request is made by a shareholder, I want answers for this. Answer. Happy? Yeah. How about shareholder? Can a shareholder demand access to the books of account? Can a shareholder or a member, can he demand access to books of account? No. Yes, yes, what, sir? Yes, what? Sridhar, I should say. Sir Sridhar. Correct. Dhanalakshmi is correct. Shareholder, no. An individual shareholder cannot inspect a book of account. By this is by negation. Shida. What happens is they have permitted a director to inspect books of account, but they have not permitted a by not mentioning shareholder, shareholder is not permitted. Two, common also, directors are engaged in the management of the company. So they are also bound by a certain degree of confidentiality, whereas shareholders are not bound by confidentiality. Therefore, certain data, certain decisions which are there in the books of cannot be revealed to shareholders. Therefore, if the shareholder is making a request, then the CFO right where he will say, we are giving you annual financial statement. Please look at that. But if the financial statement, which is being to the stock exchange, please go through it. Not that we are not giving information, but no, 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 no. I want to know when that payment is given to that person on such and such a day. Sorry, sir. Such a detailed accounting information need not be given or shared with the shareholder. Correct. Okay, so that is the correct answer. Right, sir. So this is the thing. One more thing there. Yeah. Mr. Aditya Ram, Director of Suntech Infosystems Limited, has office in Seattle, USA, demands financial information related to the settle operation over phone. So A is examining the validity of this request. See, they are giving you 2 marks. Now for 2 marks, you cannot write even 3 lines, 4 lines. Single line, maximum two lines. That's all. If you keep writing backs for 2 marks, it's wasting time. You know or you don't know. Now you attended the class, you know what is that. When you are asking for information which is relating to foreign or accounts are maintained abroad, then the request should be made in writing. Therefore, the request made by Sadhu Karam is invalid. So, request for financial information which is outside, abroad, right, kept outside India, the director should make a this is only a request over phone. Therefore, or even say Mr. Aditya Ram's request made over the phone is not valid. Well, one more suggestion when you are writing answer, not valid PAID. Yes. Sometimes even if you cannot underline in a different color, if it is requested by writing within 15 days, no. I think you have slightly that 15 days you have misunderstood. See, once a request is made, the data or the information needs to be provided, the copy of that information needs to be provided within 15 days. I hope you are clear. Correct. Ramchandran sir, you are absolutely correct. Dhanalakshmi, please see this. This information which is being required from outside India shall be provided within 15 days. Indian, what is available in India, you have to open immediately. But outside India, so it takes 15 days to provide the information. Suppose sent by Mr. Aditya Ram's advocate instead of on his behalf. Is that valid? No, no need. A request made by a power agent is not valid. the request in writing should be made by the director himself, not by our event or secretary. It's a very simple subject. Just have to remember, that's all. In fact, if you have been listening to me carefully, made a little notes, you are ready. In the exam, if you get this question, you simply answer and you. So before we put preservation of books of account, let us take some time off. A small break, right? Sir, small break, sir. Sir, okay, friends, 15 minutes later. Hmm? Break, sir. Break. I have a feeling that they extended it knowledge, they did it to 24. So, but yeah, from the first day, then I think sort of as usual, the MC loves to extend. Both the MC and the CBDT, they love extensions. The system minister also handles MCA. They love extension. So to get back to me. Next, we are not 2020. Okay, today it is very much audited there. Okay, so don't worry. As you are now discussing, arbitrage is very much there. It's
वन सेकेंड सर, मैं सर से बात करता संकेत जी, सर को होस्ट कर दीजिए। हेलो।
sir, I got disconnected. I'm sorry. Can I know go on? Yeah. Can I proceed?
यस सर, सर प्लीज कंटिन्यू।
Sorry about that. Yeah. I'm so sorry about what happened. And I was suddenly thrown out of the connection. Now I'm back. Hope I'm audible. Yeah, some of in the meantime, yeah. Good question from Dhanalakshmi, for which I have an answer now quickly. It's 23. 1/4/23 is the period when audit trail was used. That means year ending 31st March 24, year ending March 24 is the first year, okay, when will be a issue. Okay. Mr. Kwari, I really appreciate your very common sensible position. I'm unfortunately outside of my office, my hometown, my which is Chennai. I'm in a small temple town called Sri Rangam, which is very little bit connectivity is not good, near a place called Trichy. So it's a little bit difficult. So please bear with me. In Chennai, I will have three connections in my office from which I can connect with all that. So this is the one way. Just bear with me for this. I appreciate you totally. Okay. So one second. Very possibly is not my day. Coming to the point, Dhanalakshmi's question 1/4/23. Reason is one of the clients we took over from another auditor, there was a qualification. When I took over the audit, I just said, hey, why have we a qualification for audit trainer? Because when the audit trainer is not engaged, it becomes a qualification in the main audit report. Unnecessarily. So I said, why don't you enable it? Unfortunately, the C who is handling the financial accounts and all that, whatever gentleman, so-called CEO, aware of this amendment, aware of this. In spite of amendment, because he was not there in the qualification act, he will show later. He also doesn't have it. By the time need to apply it before. So, come on, boss, the electricity have to wait for 3 months. Ignore it. The remaining time it was okay. So therefore they activated it and all sorts of things. Anil, you are always afraid of something or the other. You get new things to be afraid of. I'm sorry, don't mistake me for laughing, but you're giving new things to become afraid of it. Go, yeah. Go. Let us see what happens. I've been giving so much request not to look at outside world, but rather to within for strength. You decided to become a member of the institute. That's it. Sit on. Anyway, I'm not going to waste my time in this information to you, but think about it. We are diametrically opposite because when I decided to do something, I will not be afraid. I will go ahead and do the best of what has happened in that, not bother about anybody else. Okay, I don't care what happens in the environment because to do this, don't get impact your environment. Impact your environment. Go out there and get things done. Okay, my friend, please, you're a man who is 6 years. I'm afraid. Of course, I've had my own thing. But every time I pulled myself up, came back into the world again. Came back to the batting crease and started it again. Okay, this is the best way to live. Please use negative body. Please don't be afraid. Because the minute you stop afraid, I don't care. I feel all in that, or I will improve myself in such a way that I become an expert in the industry. Who can think like that? Then you don't see, believe me, many of us of our institute, they get a qualification, they get a job. After they get into industry and become expert in that industry, that it really doesn't matter whether they're accountant or not. Practicing long so member. Many of people are so bad, they stop paying the fees after 6 years. They stop paying the fees because the institute no longer will They are there, they are knowledgeable. Not the issue doesn't want the logic. Like that. Go on, get into the big industry, get into the big stream and be there. Think like that. Rather than keep on looking at the Instagram and Facebook or whatever, and I'm sure you know Facebook, whatever you see, Google, all that, and then see some news immediately get it. Don't do that. Forget it. Okay, this is my humble suggestion. Not only on it, all of you there, it's just stop seeing this Google feed. That it is what is spoiling you. Daily basis, you are getting hit by unnecessary information. Clearly, find your career for the next 5 years. Work towards that. Ignore environment. Nothing will happen. The short run things may happen. For a person who's clear about her long-term goals, short term cannot impact you because the long terms are clear. And you have chosen one of the best qualifications ever. The man is 6 years old with being of this institute. The man saying is one of the best qualifications ever. Okay, absolutely non-redundant. Absolutely. Okay, it's there. It's to you to shine. The institute can push you up there, you there, the brand. Thereafter, it's up to you to build the institute's brand, become a brand yourself. There are hundreds of examples we can quote of such chartered accountants. Late lamented CAT and Manohar, our past president, CAR Puthi, our past president. They are all living examples of how people can grow and become great. Okay, good show. Now, so preservation of books of account together with relevant vouchers shall be preserved for a period of not less than 8 financial years immediately preceding. So 8 is prescribed in the limit. Under the Income Act, where reopening can be done within 6 years. So they can reopen from the current assessment year, they can go back 6 assessment years. Current assessment year is 25, 27. So they can go back 6 years. Similarly, for company law purpose, you need to keep the accounts preserved for not less than 8 financial years immediately. If you ask me, if a company has been in existence for less than 8 years, then for it's even more. 4 years, all 4 years, 5 years, 8 years. Now, generally, as a thumb rule, though 8 is the statutory number for how long books be preserved by a company. Books of account and relevant vouchers shall be preserved for a period of not less than 8 financial years. But prudentially, ask my clients to keep for 10 years. 10 years. Though, of course, 8 is the limit. 8 is enough. But I ask them to keep 2 years. And as and when we cross 1 year, immediately around April or May, around this time, many of my clients will be burning their earliest returns. That's the 11th year. Okay, they will burn it. They will take over the in factory or burn it. Instead for an experiment, throw it burn because let the country start. Not that there's any fraud. But today, maintaining books in even then, is a constraint. The memory is a constraint. So you can as well permanently delete those beyond the 8 years. 8 is the statutory number. But where an investigation has been ordered, where the CG has come and seen and there's some problem, then they will say, don't destroy any books, 8 years or not. Don't destroy any books. That's why I use 10 years yardstick. So even if you have the I have up to 10. If you want to keep beyond it's all over. One decade, that more than that. Now we are coming to the end of section 1. In the Company Act, every rule have a penalty. Right? Every rule, if they make immediately they will prescribe a penalty. Keep a penalty in the section 128 for contravention. Any of these provisions. For example, if you does not provide the information called for by a director, that makes a complaint to the ministry. Then the ministry can fine him. Of course, the person responsibility any director in the penalty provision is fine. They will talk about company and director or officer. Whereas here they are they are zeroing in on those people who are directly responsible for the maintenance of the accounts. The managing director, the whole-time director in charge of finance. You got it? The whole-time director in charge of finance, the chief financial officer, CFO, any other person accompanied by the board, the duty of complying with provisions of Section 128. Right? So these are the and there's something if anyone see, suppose they hire a person and make it in charge of their accounts. How should be specially qualified to do that? Then they have to file a form where the person should give his consent or her consent. Suggestion: do not give such a consent at any cost if you are not a director. If you are an employee, don't give that consent. They may ask you, don't give. Many multinational companies generally advise their advocates take this undertaking from a employee. Suppose you're a cost accountant or a chartered accountant who's going to be in charge of financial state books. Then, so the fine is 50,000 right up to 5 lakh. There was imprisonment. Now they have removed it. As I told you, 2020 there was a decriminalization of the Companies Act. We are now moving from Section 128 to Section 129, financial statement. Financial statement was defined for you in Section 2, subsection 40. 2, subsection 40. It is not a definition, it is a list of documents that come together to become the financial statement. Okay, it's put together, right? So the top of the heap is the balance sheet. Balance sheet is the position of the assets and liabilities of a company as on a date. Usually, or 99.9% on 31st. That being the case, the balance sheet. Now remember, my dears, the profit and loss account is not an independent document.
Sir,
It is next to the balance sheet. In the balance sheet, reserves and surplus in the notes, usually note number 2, you'll find reserves and surplus is added. So you'll have general, there will be a statement. And in that, the P&L account also will be mentioned. Opening balance the previous year, the profit for the year from the account will be added. Post-tax profit, the profit for the year will be added. Appropriation finally in that notes the final balance of P&L account number will be included in the total reserves and surplus. It will go to the balance sheet under reserves and surplus. That is linked to the P&L and balance sheet. P&L is an annexure to the balance sheet. Sometimes in the case of non-profit Section 8 companies, you might income something down. So there is something called the cash flow statement, which is to be prepared, but certain companies are exempted. Financial statement with respect to OPC, one person company, small company, government company, and private. Please note, my dear friends, not private company. Defined also, it is otherwise simply you cannot say startup. It should be registered as a startup. Okay, and it should be a private startup company. Then see these cases: 1% company, small company, different company, private startup company, may not include and 1% company, small company might see the definition of a small company. And remember, small company also is a company. It should not be a subsidiary of the whole company. I hope you remember this. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
sir, your internet is not stable. Please, is possible. Please switch the other network.
Sir, maybe it's not up that half an hour later. It's going to be very difficult because I'm in a remote location. Again, are you able to hear me?
No, sir. स्टक हो रहा है
मुझे पास अभी मुझे पास दूसरा नेटवर्क नहीं है
ओके
मुझे पास नहीं है
ओके सर
so shall I continue or shall I stop and make up half an hour in some other class? Sir, I'll now leave and connect again. Just give me 2 minutes.
ओके सर संकेत जी यूट्यूब में बैनर चला देना 2 मिनट के लिए